3 days left until the window slams shut and the phone lines are crackling. Buckle up, because the final weekend of the winter transfer market is about to go full throttle. If you're new here, welcome. If you're part of the crew, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and let's ride the wave together as we track every twist and turn. We are building straight off Express Sports' live transfer blog, which teed up the weekend nicely with the clock ticking down to a 7 p.m. Monday deadline, and the headlines are already popping. According to their feed, Manchester United kick things off with a double move on Friday. Academy striker Joe Hudgell heading out permanently to Kilmarnock, and midfield prospect Toby Collier linking up with Hull City on loan. For United's pathway, that's significant. Hudgell's been one of those names bubbling around the fringes. Size, work rate, nose for goal, and a permanent switch north of the border reads like a bet on regular senior minutes in a league that demands physical maturity. It's the kind of move that can harden a young forward's edges, force that decision-making in tight spaces, and set a proper platform for the next chapter. Collier to Hull, meanwhile, fits the classic prove-it loan: championship pace, relentless schedule, real stakes. If he nails it, he comes back to Carrington with a different aura, not just a prospect, but a player who's been through the ringer and learned how to influence games when it matters. The broader read on United: these are tidy squad decisions that keep the books light, the pathway open, and the phone open for any late window pounces if the right opportunity knocks. Now, Chelsea. Express Sports blog says the Blues have similarly moved to place Kendry Paez at River Plate for the rest of the calendar year, after recalling the Ecuadorian teen from Strasbourg. As ever in the final days, tag this as reported until the club posts the paperwork graphic, but the logic is familiar. Paez is one of the game's brightest young sparks, a fearless dribbler with the swagger to try the audacious, and getting him consistent high-pressure minutes in a cauldron like El Monumental would be developmental gold dust. South American giants ask big things of young creators: game state management, tempo control, initiating transitions under noise and heat, and for a player like Paez, that can be the difference between talent and totality. It also speaks to the broader Chelsea blueprint we've seen lately: stack elite youth, find the most testing environments available, and let the edges sharpen while the first team battles week to week. There's a human element here, too: Spanish-speaking environment, high-intensity football, a constant cadence of meaningful matches. It's a recipe that can accelerate growth if the fit is right. As the blog frames it, this feels like one of those strategic, calendar-long placements rather than a whirlwind stopover. And with the clock speeding toward Monday, expect more of these chess moves as clubs look to tidy pathways, lock in loans that make sense, and quietly position themselves for the summer. The common thread across these early weekend moves? Clarity. United and Chelsea both trimming and tuning, nudging promising players into contexts where the immediate challenge matches the developmental need. It's the kind of work that rarely grabs the neon headlines on deadline day, but one or two of these will be the stories we look back on in August and say, that's where the season turned for him. Now let's tackle the two that are lighting up comment sections with raised eyebrows and heavy caveats, because Express Sports blog also pushes forward a pair of rumblings that fall firmly in the watch this space, treat as unconfirmed bucket. First up, Arsenal. The blog suggests the Gunners are close to announcing Alexander Zinchenko's exit to Ajax after ending his loan spell at Nottingham Forest. That framing alone will have a lot of you double-taking, so let's be crystal. Until official statements land, this sits squarely in rumour territory. If, and it's a big if, something like this materialised, it would be seismic given Zinchenko's technical role in Arsenal's build-up, inversion into midfield, line-breaking passes, and the leadership he brings in possession-heavy control phases. A hypothetical Ajax move would be fascinating tactically, a club where positional play is doctrine, where he'd be asked to quarterback sequences and educate younger teammates through rhythm and angles. But again, we need something official before we even begin to call it real. The mention of a Forest loan ending is equally eyebrow-raising. The community will rightly ask for clarification there. For now, clock it, don't lock it. Then there's Liverpool, where the blog reports talks with Inter Milan over a loan for Curtis Jones. On paper, that would be a shocker. Jones has grown into a trusted, press-resistant midfielder who knits phases, protects the ball under pressure, and adds that controlled aggression Klopp values. A loan to Inter, even as a theoretical late-window solution, would speak to squad balance, minutes management, and possibly short-term structural needs on both sides. But the surprise factor here is massive. As with all January chatter this spicy, treat it as exploratory until pen meets paper. What does this all mean for the final stretch before Monday at 7 p.m? Expect a ping-pong of possibilities turning into late sprints, loans rubber-stamped when a medical can be squeezed in, prospects moving for the right prove-it platform, and at least one deal that nobody had on their bingo card. Keep a sharp eye on the knock-on effects. When a club frees a roster slot with an outbound loan, that can be the domino that unlocks a different incoming. And keep your notifications on for official channels. Prices, clauses, even destinations can pivot fast when one negotiation tips another. We'll be riding alongside Express Sports' live blog as the weekend unfolds, triangulating reports against what clubs actually file, and jumping back on air when anything breaks. Drop your takes in the comments. United fans, do Hudgel and Collier's moves feel like smart, long-game plays? Chelsea supporters, what would a River Plate stint do for Paya's readiness next year? Arsenal faithful, how plausible do you find the Zinchenko to Ajax chatter? And if it did happen, who fills the inversion role? Liverpool fans, would you even entertain the idea of Jones heading to Serie A? Tap like if you're buzzing for the run-in, subscribe if you want the updates the minute they land, and strap in, 3 days, 1 deadline, and 100 storylines ready to ignite.